Hey Troop 4, you ready for Agua Caliente? Have a lot of information on the web. Do you have a login? You should have a login. A lot of the stuff's public, but we do have some pages, including Green Sheet and whatnot, that are not supposed to be public, so you should have a login. Real easy to get one. You just go over to the right here. I'm logged in right now, but there'll be a create user account. Looking for you. So I'm ready. Basically, when you create a new user account, it gets an email to the webmaster. We give you some privileges, and you're good to go. So get an account. Okay. So what do we got? We got Agua Caliente this weekend. Oh, by the way, so under events, Agua Caliente, and we have Astro stuff with it, which is all the articles that we put on here for the astronomy. But let's hit Agua Caliente. Okay, so information. There will be COVID protocols, so we are going to try to minimize how much mixing we do. We're going to honor a variety of COVID protocols, and we're going to try to behave appropriately on the telescopes. We won't be just running willy-nilly, putting eyeballs on telescopes. We'll be staying with groups, our family, or COVID pods, and moving from station to station. We're going to have a lot of different stations of different telescopes. Merit badge, the PDFs here, the workbook. Okay, here's the general details. Essentially, the green sheet is on this page, and I have a link to the Astro stuff, calling it Astro Caliente. So this was 2 years ago, and you can see we had, this is Dr. Fogel's scope, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 4 were operational, 2 I didn't prepare for this year. I've prepared, so we should have 6 to 7. I should have 6 to 7 operational scopes. David should have 1, and we have a special guest who will bring another one. One of the big things, so we're going to have a lot of scopes out there, so be really careful about it. Okay. One of the big deals is, since we have more, I won't be running around. I don't have Eli helping me this year, so I can't run around from scope to scope. COVID says stay at your scope, so we're going to have a bunch of scopes, and I know we're going to have at least these three that will need to be pointed. Okay, you're going to have to point them at the objects. Okay. This is a good opportunity. This isn't a burden. This is a cool opportunity. So all those things that you're doing for the merit badge, by the way, you do not have to be going for the merit badge. You don't have to be a scout. You can be a parent to learn all this stuff. It's fun. It's cool. And again, you're going to be pointing these things. Someone is. So backstory is, if you hit the Astro stuff link, that'll list all the articles. It's also here, Astro stuff. Okay. But we do have some focused things. The backstory is how to be an observer. What does that mean? If you click on that page, okay, naked eye astronomy. What can you see with your naked eye in the city? This means in your backyard, anywhere. This is stuff you can see without equipment and with a bright sky. Another page is what can you see from the dark sky? And the big news is the Milky Way. Okay, it's amazing. You do not need a telescope. Binoculars are great. Naked eye is amazing. You can see so much with the naked eye. Once you start looking through binoculars, you see less sky. You start looking through telescopes, less sky. So just being able to see the whole sky with your eyeballs in a dark sky is stunning. Okay, so here's, in order to point the telescope, these are skills that are in the merit badge, but just in general, if you want to point the telescope, you need to learn some constellations. Why? Why do you need to learn some constellations? Essentially, they're your roadmap. If you know where a constellation is, it's real easy to figure out through a variety of resources where the, what's in them. Okay. We teach you how to star hop, and that is that's generally from, let me click on that. Okay, freestarcharts.com has a bunch of them, but basically, so Orion Nebula, it's a fantastic thing through binoculars or through any of the scopes we have. If you know where Orion is, when the sun sets and you look south, right about there is Orion. Okay, So that's the belt sword, the belt stars, and then we have the sword, and it's the middle. Okay, so that's a real easy star hop. Whirlpool Galaxy, which is one of the most amazing things there is. If you know the Big Dipper, here's the tail end of the Big Dipper. If you go 90 degrees off that end star, about half that distance, boom, point a scope there. It's one of the more stunning things in the universe, and one of the more amazing things to see with the telescope. So that's why you want to learn some constellations. And what I recommend we do is, let me see, where is it? We want to go to the, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So if we go back to the Astro Caliente page, we have the, for the weekend, the details, we have an observing list for this weekend, and it's based on a variety of things. There's a why are observing lists important, we talk about all that. So there's a lot of resources on this web, but here's the thing that we'll be able to see for this weekend. Okay, first of all, no moon, which is good because it washes things out. Mars is up. It's going to be disappointing, but we'll point at it. Uranus, yeah, through the big scope you might see it as a little green dot, but for the most part no moons or planets. Okay, but look at all the deep sky objects. Okay, these are galaxies, globular clusters, which are all this stuff. Amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. So here are what I recommend, narrowing it down to the biggest, brightest, most impressive stuff. There's a variety of things that we can point at, and I'd recommend that these are the things that anyone who's near a scope saying, what do we look at? If you know, Orion's easy to find. Whirlpool Galaxy, we have star charts, I showed you that earlier. M81 and M82, oops, I need to put a link in there, but that's actually on the How to Star Hop page also. Those are two galaxies and one eyepiece. It's really cool. In any case, so I recommend going through this, finding out what our observing list is, hit the highlights, and those are things, I recommend those being your defaults to point the scope at. I think that hits pretty much everything. We do have a variety of, first of all, Dr. Fogel, I call it the Astro Fogel Astro Photo Station. He is, as usual, taking amazing photos and showing you how it's done in real time. The Martin Obsession Station, the name of my brand of that telescope is an Obsession telescope. So anyway, that's, I'm going to be at that, and I'm going to not get far away from it because it's kind of vulnerable. And then we have two 10-inch Dobsonians, which I showed you a picture of, and there'll be a refractor. We'll have a couple scopes to sweep around, which is basically wide field telescopes, short refractors that are just really good for pushing through the Milky Way. Yeah, so, and we'll have some others too. So a lot of stuff going on, and I do recommend taking a look at the Agua Caliente page. There'll be more updates, more videos. Looking forward to it. So get your login.